Hallo und willkommen zu einer neuen Folge mit mir, Ulrich Eid, und heute das erste Mal einer englischen Folge. Und zwar habe ich diese Woche mit einem guten Freund aus New York, Josie Moore, geredet. Josie ist ein Schauspieler und Writer. Er wohnt jetzt eben schon seit ein paar Jahren in New York, hat dort irgendwie seine Acting-Career angefangen. Jetzt neuestens hat er angefangen zu schreiben, hat jetzt gerade im Laufen eine Show mit einer Bekannten von ihm. Es war ein super spannendes Gespräch. Wir haben über alles Mögliche geredet, von Corona-Situation in New York, wie er damit umgeht, über eben genau das Thema Acting, Writing, ähm, wie er zum Schreiben, zum Schauspielen gekommen ist, wie er sich in Rollen reinversetzen kann, wie er Stories entwickelt, wo er seine Inspiration hernimmt, alles Mögliche. Also super spannendes Gespräch. Ich fand es super angenehm, mit ihm zu reden. Ich hoffe, es ist auch für euch angenehm zuzuhören. Ich wünsche euch viel Spaß bei meinem Gespräch mit Josie Moore.
All right, so yeah, I'm never really sure how to start those, but I mean, that's the first time I'm doing an English podcast, so I'm kind of nervous about that.
Sweet.
But it's really good
Don't be.
having you
Your
here.
English is great. Yeah, your English is great, man.
I kind of feel like it's gotten worse and worse over the time. So yeah, I'm struggling every now and then, but I'm sure you're gonna help me out.
And we're always able to communicate with each other. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
totally. Worst case, I'm just trying to like explain something with my hands through Zoom
Sure.
or whatever. So, I mean, we just talked about this a little bit, but maybe just start off with that. Like, how is New York in all of this situation right now, like with the Corona stuff? Because like we hear about like Corona in New York as being like one of the worst places in the U.S. right now.
It is. And some New Yorkers are being smart about it and we're staying home, doing our part. And then you see articles about Central Park being overfilled with people going on walks.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just like not helping the situation.
Oh yeah,
So,
but
it goes back and forth with people.
yeah, but I guess that's like the same situation everywhere. So, like, how are you dealing with it? I mean, is it easy for you to just stay inside?
Yes, I'm painting my
Oh.
nails. I am trying to write, trying to be productive.
Mm-hmm.
And I was saying I'm kind of an introvert, or I can be. I can go between being introvert, extrovert. So I've been an introvert these last few weeks, obviously. I haven't left and I'm going on 3 weeks now, quarantine.
That's pretty crazy. I kind of guess it helps being an introvert in a situation like this right now, because you don't have the urge of, or it's not as bad for you to not be able to communicate or like see other people than it might be for extroverts.
Yeah, I feel that too, because I get calls from friends. Obviously, I'll answer them sometimes, and
Just sometimes.
it's sometimes, yeah. And it feels, I mean, it's good to talk to them and to see how they're getting through it, but some of them are having a very hard time.
Oh,
How
really?
are you doing? Yeah.
Um, it's all right. I mean, there are days I feel better, and then there are days I feel worse. I mean, I still go out and just take walks every now and then to just like get out of the house and move your body and yeah, just soak in some sun. Um, and then, I mean, I'm kind of a person that really struggles with not doing anything or also not being productive. And I
Right.
feel really bad doing nothing for even a short period of time. So, I mean, obviously, there are going to be those days where you're just sitting there watching movies or series or something. That's like kind of my problem right
That's
now. Just,
that's where I'm at. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, so it's kind of hard sometimes to just motivate yourself to do something or like figure out what you could do.
It can be hard to self-motivate, but what I've learned, or now having this time, it's somewhat of a gift to some people, and obviously a burden to others because there's those essential workers, those people who need to go out and still, make the world go around. Um, but in a sense, yeah, it is nice to be able to check in with myself and like have to face like myself, face like who I really am in a sense, because you can go and watch Netflix, but then you get bored, and you can go on a short walk, but then you get bored, and then it's kind of like forcing people to really like, you know what I mean?
Totally, yeah,
Just
that's what I just thought about today, is that it's super hard for some people, I guess, to just be with themselves because they don't
yeah,
or never really like just be and like don't try to do other stuff all the time and just be themselves and try to think about like who they are and what they do or whatever. So,
I think that's why I connect so much with being an introvert, because I
mhm,
feel like I am my own best friend sometimes.
mhm.
I feel like, because I crack myself up, like
I can so see
I
that.
really do. It's so fun.
But that's really good,
um,
especially in a time like this, if you feel
especially,
comfortable just being around yourself and being with yourself and don't have the urge or necessity to be with other people all the time.
yeah, I don't feel bad about that. I don't need it. I don't like yesterday. I had to go to the grocery, but I wait until like 11 p.m., 12 p.m. because there's one that's open late
Okay.
and there's no people. So then I
Yeah.
went yesterday and I was walking down the street and there was a fucking party, a blog party, bro.
What?
Yeah. I mean,
Seriously?
everyone had masks. Everyone had
Okay.
masks, but everyone had their drinks and like it was like herd like 10, 12 people.
But is that, or do you think that's New York mentality that nobody really cares about anything and they are not as afraid of anything? Or,
It's not nobody. It's just like those idiots who think that they are, because they feel maybe healthy and are probably asymptomatic, they feel
mhm.
that they're unstoppable in a sense and think that they can just hang out with their friends and it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
But it's not okay.
Yeah, totally. Now it's really interesting. Or it all, I guess, especially with young people, it's not really about them because they are going to be fine, or most of them probably. But it's mostly about trying to help other people not get infected. Well, we'll
But,
see.
exactly.
Yeah,
Fingers crossed.
totally. All right, so
Shit.
let's just jump into like the next kind of like section. I mean, I realized we haven't really introduced you, so like just tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do.
Okay, so my name is Josie Moore, and I'm an actor, a writer, and a nanny in New York City. I
And
currently
you've
am
done pretty
writing.
much everything by now, I guess. Like,
Yeah, I've done it all. I've worked as a chef. I have worked as a caseworker in Arizona. I've done retail. Who hasn't?
yeah,
But I feel like currently I am very much chasing my passion and following my dreams, and it feels really good to have to be productive in a sense.
yeah, that's something I really admire about you. I mean, I feel like you've tried everything, and that's so important or such a big thing just to have the experience of doing like everything and then kind of like trying to figure out what you actually want to do. And I kind of feel like that's where you are right now, and just trying, or you figured out what you want to do and now you're really pursuing that dream. That's something I really admire you for. So
Thank
yeah.
you.
So
Thank you. I feel like what I was doing was, because like you said, doing a little bit of everything. I
mhm,
was all over the place because I wasn't always sure where I wanted to land.
mhm,
And being able to do a little bit of everything was almost like finding all of the puzzle pieces.
totally, yeah.
And now I just need to put them together. And
Yeah.
which is what I feel like I'm doing slowly but surely. Nothing is done overnight. You have to be patient and you have to be persistent, is what I've learned. That's how I've been able to get myself to where I am now.
Mhm.
Uh, Professionally, I'm finishing up a show, a TV show that I've been writing,
That's
and
so
I'm
cool,
very
yeah.
excited. I might have sent some of my friends the rough pilot to watch. Might have been you,
Hmm?
yeah.
No. Yes, you know.
So we will see. We'll see how we go about releasing this TV show that we're filming, which I'm really excited about. Should I talk about it?
I think we'll get to that a little bit later.
Okay, I'm just so excited.
That's all good. Just kind of feel like I want to start in the beginning. Like, I mean, you've tried so many
Yeah.
things by now. And what or how did you get into acting and then writing as well? From
Yeah,
being a
well,
chef and like doing retail and whatever else.
so we'll take it back. So I
Yeah.
remember when I was still living in Arizona, where I was raised,
Mm-hmm.
I was never happy at any of my jobs. As selfish as that sounds, like just everything that I didn't appreciate, didn't like it because I knew that it's not what I wanted to do. Like deep down, I
Mm-hmm.
always knew I wanted to act, that I wanted to be um, like in entertainment, that
Okay.
I wanted to write and do like everything that I'm pursuing now again. So how it started, I moved to New York in 2016, I believe it was, and it was very slow paced at first. I was getting, acquainted with my neighborhood that I moved to because I had never moved across the country. Like it's like thousands of miles. And so it was kind of like shell shock. Like I had to, yeah, I had to
Especially moving to New York.
get new friends and like
Yeah.
create a new like life routine. And so when I was creating that life routine, it was more about getting a job and securing income so that I could then continue this goal that I had.
Mm-hmm.
And so initially that's when I started working in the kitchen, and I got up to being sous chef at a few restaurants, and I learned a lot in the kitchen. I learned a shit ton of things, especially that I don't want to really work in the kitchen anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I ever do, it would be for like a cooking show or something
Okay.
entertaining. It would
Yeah.
not be that fast paced, like that. What is it called? The environment.
Mm-hmm.
It's too quick. Like I sweat quickly as
Mm-hmm.
it is, and then in the kitchen, it's like 5 times worse.
Oh damn.
So.
Yeah.
So then that just propelled me forward to making sure that I was getting acting jobs. And the way that I started with acting was by honestly just like talking to people. Like
Okay.
I spoke to friends that I knew were wanting to act or were actors or were somewhat informed,
Mm-hmm.
because you can't be shy. Like I when you're pursuing something and you like need to make it happen, in a sense, like you cannot be shy. You have to be able to seek resources and look for options and opportunities
Mm-hmm.
everywhere. um, so I was asking around, and I heard about some websites that you can go in and like Backstage.
Mm-hmm.
Backstage is one of the websites. I forget the others. Actors Access, I believe, is what I used too. So you log in here and you make a profile like you're on Facebook, basically, with
Mm-hmm.
your pictures. It is important to get a headshot taken. It doesn't have to be like very expensive and insane, but just a professional picture of
Mm-hmm.
to show who you are.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, that's
Nice,
important.
a nice smile. So then once you create this profile, then you're able to go online and apply for jobs. There's big roles, and there's usually a lot of extras.
Mm-hmm.
So you can be an extra for like the Great Mrs. Maisel. Is that the show what it's called? Or like Billions. Like there's just so many shows that you have opportunities for being cast on as an extra.
Mm-hmm.
And with that exposure, you meet other actors, you meet directors. Sometimes they're very friendly, and sometimes they want to meet other people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're hot, like it's not that difficult. You have to, let's be real. It is like the entertainment world is a little vain, a little bit about looks, because it's an image that you're portraying.
Yeah.
So you don't have to necessarily be like the sexiest person. You don't have to necessarily be like the hottest six-pack. Mm-hmm. It's about the whole picture that you're bringing to the table.
Sure.
And so that's also something that cultivates you as an artist, or me as an artist, and helps me propel forward and like slowly but surely.
Yeah, I mean that sounds really cool, especially as you were saying that that was kind of like your dream from the beginning, like from your youth and when you was a kid. So it's really cool to see that that was your like passion from the beginning, and then you like tried everything else kind of like just to get back to that original passion in the end. So that's like a really cool like back and forth, I guess. um so how did you
Yeah.
transition into, or how did you get started in with writing then? I mean, I kind of feel like that's
Okay.
a little bit different as well then again.
It absolutely is. Yes, because once I had done some extras, I had got some jobs as an extra, where I was able to be on a play on Broadway. That was a really, really
Really?
interesting
I never knew
experience.
about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was in a play. It was
Damn.
so much fun. It was a
So-
supporting
so
role.
now the
So
title's gonna be Josie, the Broadway actor.
sure, one play
Still.
is all it takes. Sometimes it's all it takes.
Sure.
Yeah, but I learned a lot in this play, and again, a lot of exposure. I got to meet so many people, and the director for the play that I was in ended up becoming one of my mentors. And it's great to have people who have had experience like want to help you and want to move forward, because that has been a big reason why I've been able to do what I'm doing. Having people who knew what they were doing sit down with me and explain how they made it happen.
Yeah. So how did you get into writing then?
Yes, that was the question. You took me on a loop here.
Yeah,
so then after, it's all good. So after I did a few acting jobs and I did the play, I did like 2 commercials. I was interested in seeing something that was what I envisioned, like what I wanted to see. I wanted to see something special on TV that I wasn't being asked to do. Like I was looking for all these jobs and they're kind of, you know, like regular, like police officer, Hispanic, like thug, or like things like that. It was very specific. And if you want to make it big and if you want to stand out, there's millions of actors. There's like so many people who want to, like, you know, be in the entertainment industry, and it's a little bit cutthroat in a sense, which I'm not mad at. Like it's fun being able to maneuver yourself in ways and to make connections with the people you need to make connections with. Sometimes I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to write something and have it be good, because when you start writing, what I did is started taking classes at UCB. Writing classes, sketch writing classes at Upright Citizens Brigade here in the city. And after taking this class, who I took with my friend, with one of my close friends, we decided to start writing a TV show. We decided that we had a great idea and that we were gonna run with it. And so this is kind of my first real writing project, this Food Babies show that I'm writing. And I'm very new to it, and that's how I got started. And
so how did you, I mean, it's so interesting because if you're writing a show, it's something you have to create a whole world out of nothing. That's something that's really interesting and like really fascinating to me. So where do you start?
Exactly. That's the hard part, because you have to have a solid idea so that you can move forward from there. We had a solid idea and we trusted in each other, my writing partner and I, and we would bounce off each other. And I think that's why it's been a successful writing experience for me, because we've been able to have each other to fall back on. And also just getting feedback from other writers, which is the same thing I did with acting. Like I asked around to see if anyone was a writer or if anybody knew how I could, you know, start doing that. And that's how we started UCB and started. When you take classes at UCB, you have to write a sketch every week that you go. So every week, every class, you go and you write a sketch, and the teachers will always tell you, like, when you first start writing, it's going to be shit. So it's sure enough, like I wrote maybe 11 sketches when I was in class, and 2 of them were good.
Mhm.
2 of them
That's
maybe
pretty
got
good
any
amount,
laughs.
though.
Sure, I'll take it, but I like to succeed. So
I guess everyone
that's
does. Yeah.
that's an F. That's not good. So yeah, so then we made sure to hone in on something that we were passionate about writing about.
Mhm. So where did you get the idea from?
Well, we knew that it wanted to be about 2 best friends,
Mhm.
and we knew that it wanted to be involved around food.
Mhm.
So that's where we got the idea for Food Babies. And basically, it's 2 BFFs, a gay guy and a girl, maneuvering their way through New York City, wanting to become like famous food bloggers.
Yeah.
The gimmick is that they're always hot, horny, and hungry. And so they're always trying to please like one of those things. And it's pretty relatable, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's fun writing for this project. It's
Mhm.
fun. Like today I started another episode because we haven't finished the whole series yet. We want to wrap it up and then film all of it. Currently we have filmed 2 episodes.
Oh, really?
But this morning we filmed two so far. And I was writing another episode this morning, and I just woke up and immediately I was like, okay, this is the idea. Like, just start writing things down. It doesn't necessarily have to make sense right now. Just get it down, get it on paper, type it, whatever.
Are those things you get your inspiration from just what you experience in your life, or what kind of, or where do you get your inspiration for those situations?
You're right. I tend to take it from my life, and that's usually the easiest route to take, I feel like, for a writer, through experience. That's why a lot of writers don't get good until they're older or until they've had experience, in a sense. But I've lived quite the journey. So
really, I mean, that's like a big advantage of trying out a lot of things before ending up at writing, I guess.
And you know what, like we said earlier, I kind of tried a little bit of everything, knowing that it's not what I wanted to do, but knowing that it was going to help me in a sense. And I'm glad that I've been on this journey because, as you know, I'm a dreamer. And for those of you who don't know that, a dreamer is someone who's allowed to be in the country through a work permit if you were brought here as a child. So since I was brought here as a child, I was raised in this country, so then I was given a work permit. And now I'm called a dreamer, and the permit is called DACA. The Supreme Court is supposed to come to a decision this summer about DACA. Court is 5, there's
5 conservatives and
4
5...
liberal and 5 conservatives. Yeah, it's conservative. The word was conservatives. And so they're going to make a decision this summer about DACA. So I don't know exactly what is going to happen with my future at this point, because that's the only thing that I have. And there's so many of us dreamers here in this country. Like, there's people that are nurses, people that work in the medical field. So right now we are kind of at a high risk, all of us dreamers, kind of, being kicked out of the country in a sense, or like, so just pray for me.
Oh, for sure.
But this is another reason why I'm like making sure that I'm working hard and trying to make things happen.
Yeah. So another really fascinating thing for me about writing is like just building a character, because I kind of feel like it would be really, really hard to create a character from nothing, and also to make it so that other people can relate to the character, because I kind of feel like that's important for if you watch a series or a movie or whatever, that you can kind of relate to the character. But how do you actually do that? I mean, there's so much depth to a character. If you're creating a character, are you thinking about like their whole history, their whole lives and everything, or how do you approach that?
Yes. So the best way for me with creating a character in this new world is to go from experience. So I'm not like, I can't be every single character that I write about. It's not just about me. It's about the people that I've met along the way too. And that's kind of where I take from. I have met some crazy fucking people. Oh
I
my
can imagine
goodness.
that.
And I attract crazy too. Like it's like I'm walking down the street and I'm like, hey, you crazy? Come here. Like come be crazy with me. So I'm all the time, I'm just constantly in these scenarios where I'm like questioning my sanity and like why what brought me to this point. So that's kind of where I create a character from, is like people I've met along the way,
Mhm.
like my friends who really have like no dignity, or like um even like crazy bitches that I've met at parties before that
Mhm.
were made possibly intoxicated and very funny.
Yeah.
I don't know, it comes from the height. So when you come up with a character, you don't want to create someone that's boring. You don't want
Mhm.
to create someone
Sure.
that just hello, goodbye. Like you want to create, like have someone that's like, hello, what
Yeah.
the fuck? Like
Mhm.
what is going on here? We want to see friction. We want to see why we're looking at you. Why are you so
Mhm.
interesting, character? Huh?
Mhm.
What is it about you? So when you think about interesting characters, or when I think about interesting characters, what jumps to mind is those people that I've met along the way, those people that have brought me to this point where I'm like, holy shit, like you're so interesting. You are somebody that I cannot forget. And you are
Mhm.
somebody that I can learn from and take from
Mhm.
emotionally. And, like in a sense, that's what helped me
Yeah, that totally
with
makes sense,
writing
and
and
it's
creating a
really
character.
interesting. Yeah.
I don't know if that's how everyone goes about it, because obviously you can just pick and choose what you want a person to be.
Sure.
And that's also.
I guess you can also like just pick and choose characteristics from different people and kind of assemble a new person from there. But I kind of guess that's like a super, or every writer probably has their own approach to this.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's interesting. Um, and also, what is writing to you? Is it kind of a way to deal with your situation in life or your issues? Is that kind of like a way to express yourself and deal with situations or problems like that? Or is it more that you want to just create a fantasy, some place to escape reality and everyday life? So, what's your approach?
My approach is a mixture of both, because I am creating a fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
but this fantasy that I'm creating is coming from a reality that I've acquired in my head. In a sense, it's something like we each have our own realities. You have your own truths. I have my own truths. The neighbor has their own truths. Like, and
Sure.
they're all different. So when it comes to um, bring me around again, what was the question?
Like, is writing for you a way of escaping reality,
Okay.
probably, I guess, or expressing or dealing with your own reality?
So yeah, again, so it is both, because I'm escaping it, because I'm able to write my own world. I'm able to escape into this different uh, zone where I don't feel a certain way, and where I can make a character feel like a badass motherfucker or like a complete piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to do both. So that helps me cope with what's really going on when I'm writing this fantasy. So that's, if that
Yeah.
makes any sense, that's how I
No,
go
that
about
that
my
totally makes
writing.
sense, and that's kind of where I wanted to get with that question as well. Like, how does it help you to write dealing with problems in your everyday life?
Yeah, I mean, we can't, there's those problems that we face every day that we can't change. Like there, we can try to pray for it to change, but we know deep down that it's just over time something's going to happen, but we have no say in it.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel helpless sometimes. And that makes me feel like it's a little bit too much to take on in real life. So then that's when I escape to writing and to putting that energy into something that I can express. because we all have to be able to express ourselves. It's
Yeah.
important.
That's really nice, I guess. Is that the same with acting as well? Is it more of a way to escape and like try and be someone else that you're not in your like everyday life, or is it also like trying to deal or bring your own emotions in there and trying to deal with them just in another persona?
Yeah, for me, acting is a way to express something that I wouldn't normally be able to, or to be someone that I normally am not. Because we all have our ranges of like things we do and things that are okay for us. But as an actor, when you're being a different role, when you're being someone, you're being told, you're not yourself now, and now you are this person, and this person has these characteristics and these traits. And so it is interesting, playing someone that you're not, because it is a way to express feelings that maybe have not been able to surface, or feelings that have not been able to be expressed.
So how do you, I mean, if you're playing a role that you feel like it's not you, how do you get into that kind of persona or that?
Oh, that is me. You become that person.
Okay.
You are taken over in a sense.
How do you get that person? Like, especially you just said that there, or maybe you play a person that has characteristics that you usually wouldn't be able to feel or anything. And now in this persona, you are able to like be like they are
the things you cannot.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you get to the point where you can actually do that?
I mean, it does take practice and like meditation and putting yourself in the shoes of that type of person, because everyone is unique to an extent. I feel like I can categorize people in a certain way without being biased, and just kind of know who they are after being around them for a certain time. Like you learn who a person is.
Sure.
And that's kind of where I take it from the experience, and from like seeing the way someone is naturally. Because if you're like a hot 30-year-old guy, it depends which role you want to portray, because you can be a shy guy or you can be someone that's very outgoing. But to be that outgoing guy, to be that shy guy, what I do is I go back to, again, past experience. When I was very young, I was very shy, because I was overweight and I just wasn't confident. And so I kind of can retract back to that feeling of like not being enough and like being a shy little bunny.
So again, getting your inspiration or experiences from your own life.
Yeah, usually.
Does it help to understand other people better and their perspectives, playing all kinds of different roles?
You have to be able to understand why someone is the way they are, which is difficult for some people to accept, because some people think everyone is like them or everyone should be like them. But that's not how it works. Like, every single person is, like we were saying, unique. And so we each have our own things that we do that make us unique in that sense. So if you study someone long enough, that's where it comes from.
Do you feel like that helps you in everyday life with other people that you usually interact with?
Yeah, I feel like I'm a little bit more patient now, because I'm a hothead. Like, I'm a hot-headed person. Like, I will get mad very easily, that type of thing. But just over time, over the last few years, that I've been able to, be able to focus on writing and my passions, it's been able to help me also with my patience and with what my goals are. But it does help me understand people better, and I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah, I can totally imagine that. It also gives you a new perspective on a lot of things being able to see them from.
Yeah, every day, like at any time that I meet somebody new, um, even though I can categorize them and put them in a group of who they are, they're still unique and there's still something to be learned from that person. And usually I do learn something from everybody.
Yeah, that's really cool. If you can take away something. And that's kind of like what I think is really interesting about photography, because I get to work with a lot of different people. So I meet a lot of new people and I can take something new from everyone. So that's really cool, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, we're kind of like, or did you just want to say something?
Well, I was going to add that we are just like friendly people too.
Yeah.
Like you have to be open and you have to be able to approach someone. You can't be shy.
Yeah.
You can't be shy.
Well, I mean, you can be shy, but you have to be able to be confident with yourself, I guess, to try and deal with it, because I kind of feel like I'm a really shy person, but I'm just working on it. So
with being in control of
being in control and also knowing myself better and what my limits are, how far I can push my limits, and that kind of things. And I kind of feel like as you get to know yourself better, you also know on like how far you can go, where your strengths are, and like that you can also kind of like that's the issue with speaking in English. But I can't really express.
I get what you're saying though.
But whatever. I kind of like lost my track there. But getting to know yourself a little bit better helps with the way you deal with situations, and I kind of feel like you're a little bit more outgoing and a little bit more open. But yeah, totally.
I am.
We talked about your show a little bit in the beginning. Kind of wanted to like get back to that. Because I mean, you wrote how many episodes now?
We have written about 5 episodes so far.
Okay. And then something that's real, like, was kind of like crazy to me is that you have to produce the first pilot, or how many do you want to produce yourself?
We will do maybe the whole series, maybe about 8 episodes.
Okay. So
it will be between 6 and 8.
That's crazy. Especially, I mean, I kind of like thought when I was in New York last time and we talked about this, I kind of feel like you said you had to produce like one pilot yourself and then you pitch it to a network. If you would pitch
that
it.
Is right. That's one way you can go about it is you put this pilot together. So you find a producer, you find camera people, you find actors, you have to be able to bring a whole community together in a sense to make this one really pilot happen.
To me,
yeah, and it takes a whole village. That's why it's a difficult thing to make happen, and it's not everybody can just go and do it. I have been very lucky with the people that I've met and the connections I've made, obviously, to make this show happen. But
so you already had the connections to produce that pilot.
Not
too high of cost, I guess.
No, correct. Okay. And that's usually the way it goes. Like you make friends with people who work in the industry so that you can come together and make this project happen. Because when your name is attached to it, you get to be exposed.
Sure. Yeah. So how, like, were you happy with your first pilot? I mean, I saw it and I thought it was really good, like really interesting. And it was really good, or really cool seeing you acting and like what you created in your mind, the whole world and everything. But how did you think it was?
I am very critical of my work. Like, I don't like to put out mediocre work. I like to, just like you always put out very, very precise and perfect work. So when I first saw the rough cut, like I liked it, but I knew that things needed to change, and I knew little tweaks here and there were going to make it better. And so it's just going back into it and getting some edits done and having the feeling that you're confident, knowing that it's good enough.
Yeah. When is it
And
good
so
enough,
with
I
the
guess?
pilot, when is it good enough? For me, it's good enough when I can watch it over and over again.
Okay.
Kind of like with my Instagram pictures, like if I post a picture, if I can go back and look at it and then like read the quote and not feel shy or not feel maybe like I shouldn't have done it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually with all my posts. Like I'm very confident. And so then that's what I use as reassurance also. Like I'll go back and look at things that I've done in the past. And that gives me energy to know that I can do this.
Yeah, of course. And yeah, I mean, as I said, I mean, the draft or the cut I saw, that was really cool. So did you actually finish the first one totally?
I believe now, yeah, it's finished. They just sent
Hmm.
it to me yesterday.
You know,
And
I want to see it.
yeah, I will send it. I would love for you
Oh,
to
yeah.
watch and give feedback
Sure.
again.
I kind of feel like
But
it's
I'm also
not.
excited to put it out there. Like I want people to see it, and I want like I want my creativity to be seen.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. So are you going
For
to
sure.
produce all like 7 or 8 or whatever episodes before you publish them? Or are you going to like release them one after another?
I would like to release them one after another.
Okay.
I would like to, but it's up to me and my writing partner, and
Mhm.
we'll decide that when the time is right. I feel like we want to have at least 2 or 3 episodes fully finished.
Mhm.
So right now we have the one that's fully, I feel like confident about. I have not seen the second episode because it's still being edited. Um, so we'll see how that looks, and then we'll move forward. I if it was up to me, like I would be exposing it now. Like
Okay. Yeah. I want to see it, so I'm really
I will
rooting for you.
be, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay, so
excited about it, and it's yeah.
yeah. No, I'm really looking forward to like seeing it and also being able to see what other people think about it. Just seeing how other people react to your work, because I
Me
think it's really
too.
cool knowing you. So.
Me too.
Yeah.
And then going back and forth between, being the person who wrote it and then
Mhm.
also being the person that's acting in it.
Yeah.
So going and then like helping produce. So it is a lot of hats that I'm wearing, but it's chaotic, and it's the way I like it in a sense when I'm working, because it feels so good to be on set, and it feels so good to just like work on set. It just
I totally get you.
It makes me happy.
Well, yeah. So I kind of feel like we've touched on a bunch of things and aspects and everything, and there are like a ton of other questions I would love to ask you, but we're kind of like getting to a time where it's
You're
already
fine.
getting kind of long. So I kind of want to wrap this up by asking you, like, I kind of finish the shows with asking 2 questions, because I kind of feel like they wrap up everything really nicely. The first one is like, what are your goals as a writer or actor?
You're cutting off a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of feel
with your
like
mic. I don't know if that's me. Hold on.
So yeah, all right.
Cool. So we were gonna wrap up with 2 questions. You were saying.
Exactly. Yeah. Usually I wrap up those like episodes with asking 2 questions. The first one would be like, what are your goals with being an actor or writer?
My goals are to definitely write something that I'm very passionate about, and write something that I know will be good for years to come,
Mhm.
or be part of projects that will be good for years to come, not just now.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So in a sense, I want to be able to work with the best and make the best.
Mhm. Do you feel like you're ever gonna be at that point that you're
Fuck
really
yeah.
happy? Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Yeah,
That's
it's
good.
something that right now obviously is in the distance. It's something that's like out there, but I can see it.
Mhm.
And before I started writing, and when I was only doing acting, like I was lost. I didn't necessarily know how I was going to make this happen. And so when you take things into your own hands and you're able to make things happen for yourself in a sense, it takes you to different places.
Mm-hmm.
And so absolutely, if I keep busting my ass and if I keep doing what I'm doing, there's no other option.
Hell yeah, that's like perfect. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
And I'm really sure too.
Hell yeah. But you have to be the most confident within yourself. And if you can't do that, seek it from someone you love, because it's also about the people you surround yourself with. The 5 people that you surround yourself with in life is kind of who you are, who you mold yourself as.
Mm-hmm.
So it is important to have those good people around you.
Well, yeah, I kind of feel like that's like totally like new route we could get into. That would be like really interesting.
Well, we'll talk about that another time. Yeah. You're fine.
So the last question would be, what is it about acting, writing that you enjoy or love that much, or what makes it that special to you? I mean, you've touched on a lot of things, but kind of like just to conclude everything.
What makes it special is that there's a certain type of person that can do it. And there's a certain type of person that's like, if you're passionate enough about it, you will make like beautiful projects. And I think that's what it's about. It's about making something beautiful for you to see, for your grandma, for like your kids, to make a better world in a sense. Because I don't want to make a project that's going to be negative and give a negative image of somebody. I want to portray the positive things. And of course, you have to show the bad and the good in people. But what I do is always focus on the good. Always focus on the good, because even on the good, there will be bad. So.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Thanks.
So yeah, I feel like that's a good way to wrap this up now.
I feel so.
So yeah, so just thank you so much for taking the time, and yeah, it was really nice talking to you. Also talking to you about like that subject, because I kind of feel like we haven't really talked that much, or not in that depth about it. So yeah, that was really cool. So thank you.
I agree. I had a lot of fun. It doesn't feel like it's been an hour, man.
Not at all. All right, so let's cut this.
So, das war mein Gespräch mit Josie. Ich fand es wunderschön, mal wieder mit ihm zu reden, weil ich ihn jetzt schon länger nicht mehr gesehen habe und nicht mehr mit ihm geredet habe. Und ja, wir haben, glaube ich, selber noch nie so wirklich im Detail über dieses Thema geredet. Und dementsprechend war es super spannend für mich. Genau, wenn ihr mehr von Josie sehen wollt, könnt ihr ihn auf Instagram unter Josie the Dude finden. Schaut gerne mal vorbei. Wenn ihr mir Feedback zu diesem Podcast geben wollt, wenn ihr Anmerkungen machen wollt, wenn ihr sagen wollt, wen ihr vielleicht gerne als Gast hören würdet in diesem Podcast, könnt ihr mich auch auf Instagram finden unter u.eit, also u.antony.Theodor. Dort könnt ihr mir gerne schreiben und mir Nachrichten hinterlassen. Vielen Dank fürs Zuhören und bis zum nächsten Mal.